What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another match review for you guys as Spurs have lost 3-1 to Brentford in the last home game of the season. We are here with Brian Daigle today in absence of Sim. How you doing, Brian?
I'm okay. I'm happy to be back here. It's been a long time since I've been in the studio. I can't remember when, but yeah, just another awful day for Tottenham, wasn't it?
Another day in paradise,
Correct.
Another day in paradise. But look, we'll start off with the positives, which was the first half. If you bring on the phone, we'll bring it on early. Look, if you look at the stats from the first half, it was a dominant display. An XG of 0.89. They had 0.22. We had 53% possession, 9 total shots, 5 on target. We limited them to no shots on target whatsoever. And it really was a really good display in that first half. I think you even went as far to say probably the best half of the season.
For me, the way we were playing, and you mentioned the Man City game for the way we did at home. I think for playing attacking football, and some of the movement and one-touch football we were playing, especially that one with the build-up to Sonny, and he got Ben Mee made that incredible challenge. It was really, really positive football that was really enjoyable, and we looked like a different team. It really was. I was very impressed with the first half performance.
Yeah, so Mason did change it up. We went, in my opinion, which was a 4-2-3-1, Kulusevski in the hole, Fraser Forster in goal, Davis, Longley, Sanchez and Royale as the back. And then you had the Bissouma and Ollie Skip in the double pivot with Kulusevski just behind Kane, Son and Danjuma. And I felt like... Well, let's talk about the goal first of all, because it came really early on, 8 minutes in. We get a free kick. Me and Danny Kyriakou would be like, get Kane away from this free kick, get Kane away from this free kick. And I'm sure every other Spurs fan was probably saying the same thing. But it was a bit of a different routine because instead of Kane just going for it straight away, Kulusevski laid it off for Harry Kane. And what a finish it was from Harry Kane. Curling effort into the top corner. And you thought it was going to be a really good day for Spurs.
It was a stunning strike, and in honour of Danny, me and Danny, when we're together, he goes to take a free kick, singing, it's hitting the wall, Harry Kane. So I started singing that in the pub, and then I was like, Jesus Christ, what an incredible finish from an incredible player to add to his collection. That was right in the postage stamp, wasn't it? That I think, like you said, the rollback, why have they not thought of that beforehand?
It's taken to the second last game of the season for them to try something like that.
It was a breathtaking finish. It really was. And at that time, everything looked positive, didn't it?
Yeah, it really did. And I thought Bissouma was really running things in the middle of the park. I thought he was probably our best player on the day. It wasn't just the way he was in terms of his combativeness as well, but his ball-playing ability. I mean, he was spreading the ball really nicely. He was working really well in the tight spaces, and I thought he was literally the best player on the park in the first half. But we were having our chances time and time again in that half. After that Kane free kick, he plays a lovely ball, Harry Kane, into the path of Heung-min Son. It was a bit of a poor touch from Heung-min Son, but he made up for it. He got the shot off. David Raya was equal to it. After that, Kulu played a really nice back heel to find Heung-min Son, who crossed it into Emerson. Emerson at the back post with a nice header, and it was just saved off the line by Henry. I mean, we were creating chance after chance after chance. We just couldn't seem to beat Raya and find that second goal. And
I felt very impressive. Raya was very impressive.
He was, and especially with his feet. I mean, you're looking at Raya, and you're thinking, we need this guy.
Yep. Agreed.
That's exactly what I was thinking every time I saw him make those saves after save after save. You had that Sonny and Emerson interchange as well. Sonny crosses it in. It finds Danjuma. He fires it wide. And there was a really nice interchange as well with Davis, Son and Kulusevski. A nice cute ball from Kulusevski to find Heung-min Son, but Ben Mee makes a really good block. So we really were, creating chances, limiting Brentford as well to not many chances. Like I said before, not many shots on goal. I mean, how did you assess that first half as a whole?
As the half-time whistle blew, just to touch on Bissouma as well, playing the 4-2-3-1 system was made for Bissouma. And you saw that with the first half. It's when we've been playing him in the 3-4-3, he was struggling, having an impact from the bench, but yeah, you saw a glimpse of what's to come. What we saw at Brighton. Going in at half-time, I was ultra impressed with the performance. Obviously, you've always got that worry. It's only 1-0. What Tottenham's going to turn up? But it was something to think. If we can see this for 90 minutes, this is something to build on. This is something to say, right, something is there with these players. So first half, it was exciting. It was like, well done, lads.
And I really liked Dan Juma as well. I know it was probably not too much quality in there from him, but what I really liked from Dan Juma is the runs that he was making off the ball. He was always looking to get in behind Brentford. He was always making those like kind of curled runs and keeping himself onside. I really like that. And the shame about that was that the end ball, the end product, was either a bit too far or a bit too soon for him. And I felt like Dan Juma's runs didn't get the rewards that they were deserved.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a shame that it's taken till the final home game of the season for him to get his first start. It really is. And you look at it, he did offer something different and something we haven't seen. And we should have been using him there instead of Richarlison and Kulu all this time. He's been sitting there. You're right. I think there's that one time as well where you could see his confidence because he hasn't been playing regularly, where he took that extra touch or took that extra step or slowed
and he
it
hesitated,
down.
didn't he?
That's the word. That's the exact word. And I think more regular football, you may have seen something different from that, from those moments. But he was a bright spark in the first half.
Yeah, he really was. So I thought, really, Bissouma, Dan Juma playing really well in that first half. Kulusevski was an interesting one because he was playing in that number 10 position and he was causing problems for Brentford, but I just felt like he just seemed a bit off it.
Yeah.
Just a bit off it.
He has since the World Cup, hasn't he? And let's face it, the way the team is right now, I mean, their confidence has got to be shot to bits. They're basically on the beach already, and it was brighter from him. But you're right, this season, especially the second half, he has just not looked himself.
And look, it was a good performance. I thought defensively we stood up well to what Brighton were throwing at us. Brentford were throwing at us, and when we were going forward, we were hurting them without, getting that second goal. And I said to Danny just before the half-time whistle went, I said to him, "Well, that's our good half. What's going to happen in the second half?" And lo and behold, in the second half was a complete shit show. I don't understand with Tottenham why this happens so often. Why can we not perform for 90-minute periods? Why is it either the first half or the second half? What is going on with this team? Like, it doesn't matter if it's Conte, Stellini, Mason. It's the same thing. We play well in one half and we play terrible in another half.
So what I will say as well with this is, first of all, people have seen on here that I've raved about Thomas Frank. I still want him as number one, but I don't because he'll get his career ruined here. He just changed it. He just said, right, this ain't working.
Went 3-5-2.
And then wallop. There we go. This team, they're like, okay, we're playing well. They're being really bad playing. They're going to carry on. They made a change, and boy, did it have an impact. It's like you just said with the second half. I keep using this slogan for Tottenham. Bullet Tooth Tony, Vinnie Jones in Snatch says, never underestimate the predictability of stupidity. And that is Tottenham Hotspur. Because this is what we are. You cannot predict how unpredictable we're going to be.
Yeah.
And it just showed it in that second half. And it just, words that you said could not have been more true. And that's the sorry state of affairs we're in right now.
It really is. And crazy to think about. In the second half alone, we had 70% possession.
I didn't even know that.
70% possession, when in the first half we had 53% possession. If you bring up the phone again, I'll show you the second half stats. So 70% possession for Spurs, 13 shots for Spurs, only 3 on target. But Brentford, they had 7 shots on goal totally and 4 shots on target. With those 4 shots, they scored 3 goals. Yep. And that just shows how clinical they were on the day. But every single goal we scored was a complete defensive shit show.
Yep.
It really was. I mean, the first goal, Longley. What's he doing? I mean, he completely fails to close down Wissa. Wissa plays it into Mbeumo. Ben Davies is just standing off him, gives him all the time in the world to get his shot across. And he shoots and he scores. Yep. Fraser Forster, is he liable for that as well?
Yeah, I mean, you and me looked at it. When I first saw it, it looked like as he was going down, his hand was there, and then he just withdrew his arm. But as we saw with the Leicester game, the way to get past Fraser Forster is hit it low and hit it across him. He's 36 now, 35, 36. He's 6'7". It's going to take him a minute. He's no spring chicken, and that's exactly what they did.
Yeah.
And for all of them, it was like literally. But like you said, I mean, I still can't believe we're in serious talks, or there's serious word we're hearing that we're actually going to try and take Clement Longap in seriously full time. The first goal, that's the first thing I thought. As soon the way they just eased past him was just unacceptable. But it was just too easy, like you said, wasn't it?
It really
that goal
was.
just so easy.
It really was. And 10 minutes later, all that hard work in the first half completely undone. And, 5 minutes into the second half, 1-1, and you're thinking, all right, bad start to the half, maybe we can get back in it. 10 minutes after that, another defensive shit show, and Mbeumo just completely gets round the back of Davis like he's not even there. Lenglet couldn't recover, and then Mbeumo just fires it into the bottom corner again.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, we've got to say this goal is we were on the attack. That ball to Mbeumo
It's brilliant.
was absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
Completely split Ben Davis. Like, long lays no man's land. Davis has got caught out. Mbeumo, the finish is superb, but that ball is what killed it. And it's another defensive error from this defensive team that play defensive football and now have the worst Premiership goal conceded for us. It's a stunning ball, but yeah, again, just too easy.
And then from that period when we conceded that second goal to when we conceded the third goal, there was a good 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes from when we conceded the second to the third. It was just a nothing game. There was just nothing happening. And you're thinking come on, Mason, make some changes, tactically change it because we're not in this game at the moment. He just didn't do that.
No.
And that's what really got me, because he had the balls, right, to change it from the start, go 4 at the back, go 4-2-3-1, go to a philosophy that's more suited to him. But when he sees Thomas Frank make the changes and you can see that they've scored 2 goals in the first 10 minutes, surely you've got to change something tactically.
Well, you know what? This goes back to Stellini when he was saying it's not tactical errors, it's individual errors. But you look at this further, and I was looking at this yesterday. Substitutions is a big problem at this football club. The only one that would make it instantly there's something wrong was Jose. Poch was reactive rather than proactive. Conte didn't have the trust of his play, or he didn't trust his players that he could bring on, could do the job, and made them in the 75th minute or wherever it be. Same with Stellini saying it's not tactical, it's individual. Now it's with Mason, the only one that would do it, and you remember Dyer in the Champions would go, right, this ain't working.
Jose.
It's Jose. So defensive substitutions have been a problem. Then you look at the squad and whatever. But like you said, right now, Ryan Mason, final home game, because of where we're going, you'd been talked about as being a serious candidate. This is your time to impress and do something. You impressed in the first half when things were going good, but when things are going bad, that's when the managers make their money, because they make these decisions that can impact the game. And again, we didn't.
It's funny because I was speaking to a good friend of mine. He messaged me at half time. He goes, Mason in. 20 minutes into the second half, he messaged me, Mason out.
This is how quick it changes at this football club, though, isn't it? You cannot write this stuff. I said to someone, if someone said to any Spurs fan, write down what happened this season and say the worst things that could happen, but be realistic, not one Spurs fan would say this.
Yeah.
It's shocking. But yeah, the defensive issues for me have been a problem for a long, long time at this
point. They really have. They really have. And, that last goal, that third goal that we conceded, I mean, Ollie skipped, man. He picks up the ball just outside our area, runs to the left, completely runs into 3 Brentford players, gets robbed, and within 2 passes they're in, and Wissa makes no mistake, and it was an easy finish, really.
It was easy, but you mentioned something. I've been meaning to talk to you about this, both privately and on this. I am totally agreeing with you when you said about this nonsense rumour of Ollie Skip being promoted to the leadership team.
Group. Yeah,
he's had 6 managers in 4 seasons. He's 22 years old. Be promoted to.
He's had 2 full seasons as a professional player for Tottenham Hotspur. Before that, he was on loan at Norwich.
Yeah.
What has he done to deserve to be part of the leadership group? He's a good young player coming through the ranks, and that's all he should be at the moment.
And as Timmy said, what is a leadership? What is the point?
Yeah, exactly. First of all, yeah.
Yeah, that's enough story. But again, listen, Ollie Skip made an error. Players do this. And it was a big, big error. But this is what happens when you don't have the quality or the experience and Brentford playing the pressing game that, funny enough, we should know well enough from the Poch time of what happens. From the throw-in, he takes the bad first touch, which puts him in trouble. And then 2 players are on him, and before he could blink, They're right at Fraser Foster, and they were never going to miss it.
No, they weren't. And we did make a little bit of a late rally at the end of the game. Richarlison was on the pitch, by the way, before that third goal. Pedro Porro came on for Emerson. Perisic came on for Ben Davis. Emerson came on, I think, on the hour mark or just after for his final game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And we did make that late rally. Richarlison had a couple of headers. Sonny puts in a great ball, by the way. That's right on the money for Richarlison. He heads it. David Raya saves. And then it comes out. Lucas Moura.
Save.
Yeah, but I think the second save was much better than the first one. I mean, that cross from Lucas Moura, Richarlison, pretty much carbon copy header. Raya tips it onto the post, doesn't he? And if there's a poorer keeper in there for Brentford and it's not such a good keeper like David Raya, we probably go on and win that game. We probably score one of those at the end, and we probably score quite a few in the first half as well. So you got to give credit to that keeper.
Hey, mate, you got credit to Brentford. Let's face it, Brentford are in their second season.
Tony.
They're rivaling us. Yeah, exactly. Everyone going mad about Ivan Toney and we're going to beat them because their main man is out. They adapted. Brentford deserve a huge amount of credit for not just yesterday, what they've done this season as a football club, and they had our number.
Yeah, they really did. But it shouldn't have been that way because we were so dominant in that first half. Let's be honest, we should have scored more than one goal by far. We should have scored at least 2-3 goals in that first half. And if we did, you're probably thinking game over, game, set, and match. Sure. But we didn't. Our finishing boots weren't really on, like the chances I spoke about before. And it's just the same old story over and over again with Tottenham. And I, for one, are just happy I don't have to go to Tottenham until next season, to be honest.
This is what it's become now, isn't it? That is what it's become. People just refusing to go. This is where we are right now. And this end of the season, I've never known a season I've wanted over so much in recent history. I can't think of a season where I just want this done.
Yeah.
And thankfully, like you said, there's just one more game.
Yeah, one more game. And Everton, I think everyone in Everton probably wants Spurs to win more than Spurs fans.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Honestly, that's where we are.
But it's a sorry state of affairs with this club. I mean, we've spoken about the mess of this football club many a time. No manager, no sporting director. The women's team played a double header. They won 4-1, just about saving themselves from relegation. The under-21s, I think, got relegated. But they paraded a trophy round at half-time with the under-17s and the under-18s, so that was good for them. But I mean, even the women's team don't even have a manager. I mean, they have such a big job on their hands this summer, and I don't think there's been a bigger job on a chairman's hands since I can remember being a Spurs fan.
Listen, people know how I feel on this. First of all, everyone that has been tweeting and everything about the protests and helping us, thank you very, very much indeed for your help and support. You have no idea what it means to us. You look at it. I mean, even his end-of-season address is pathetic. Like the one in 2021 with our DNA and going back to attacking football. But the part where he goes, let's get behind Mason and Vicky, or I think her name was Vicky, the manager. It's like, well, you've put them in this position. We've gone to a football. We started the season with a women's manager, a men's manager, a director of football, a good assistant manager. None of them are there.
Yeah.
The football has been atrocious. The results have been unacceptable. And once again, we're here where this is the gigantic summer. This is the summer where I don't think, and I'm not just talking about Tottenham Hotspur, I don't know a football team that has needed a bigger rebuild from top to bottom, every single department, than what's going on here. Do I have confidence and faith that Daniel Levy can do it? No. But
I don't think anyone does, to be honest.
That's the thing. I think that's where we are now. He just hasn't got no wiggle room. I mean, you even look at it now. It's not just Spurs fans. It's opposing fans that are rival fans at games. It's the media, and I'm not talking about YouTube. I'm talking about brilliant pieces by Ollie Holt, which was a phenomenal piece. It's everywhere, and he's got to do something. Yeah. Hopefully, it's walk out the door, but I don't think it will.
Yeah.
But like you said, this club is in.
It's in disarray. It's in disarray. That's the only word for it, because everything is a mess. There's fights breaking out in the stands, and even in the protests, you've got Levy in people coming up to Levy out people and wanting to have it out. And I mean, everyone just needs to respect everyone else's opinions. That's what the fact of the matter is. There's no need for hate and vitriol within the Spurs fan base. And unfortunately, it does creep up from time to time. When you look at the league table, One more win for Brighton, and that's it from our top 6. No chance for Europa League. We are a point behind Aston Villa in the Conference League. We're a point above Brentford going into the last game. So, I mean, I think the most likely outcome probably is going to be no European football whatsoever at Tottenham Hotspur next season. And when's the last time we've had no European football at Spurs?
Well, you go back to it, and this is how bad it's been this season. Do you remember in January when we were asking that the Trust put those questions out? And I kept saying it. The very first question was, can you tell us the immediate and long-term future of the club? And Daniel Levy's first sentence, and I knew it was going to be bullshit from there on, said, in the last 16 years, we've qualified for Europe in 15 of them. What were numbers to that effect? Well, Daniel, now you can add this one. I mean, I don't think even myself would have said we're not going to be not having European football. That is how you look at the start of this season. Antonio Conte, whatever's happened has happened with him. But as all Spurs fans, Antonio Conte, 150 million invested to make the squad, great Champions League football. We're talking about no European football.
No.
And that's going to have a huge impact on sponsors, or on revenue, on everything. And no one else to blame but him.
Yeah. And when you're looking at it, if you bring the league table back up, it is Brighton, Aston Villa last game of the season. So there is an outside chance if we do win that we do get that Conference League spot. But I think I'd just prefer to be out of Europe for a season than get into the Conference League. I don't know what it brings us. Maybe it gives us a better route back into the Europa League if we can't finish in the top 6 next season. But the way I look at it, one more win for Brighton. They're sealed in the top 6. But I just can't see us going to Leeds in a very crunch game, going and winning their last game of the season.
Yeah, I've said it on this channel a few times and others. We fold away if the atmosphere is hostile, toxic, intimidating, and we've conceded in the first 10 minutes in the last 3 away games. If Leeds, and you've been to Leeds a number of times, I've been to Leeds.
I've never been.
Oh, you've never been to Leeds?
Not once, no, never.
Oh, thank God you're not going this game, because I'll tell you one thing. If you want to see a ground that will get behind their team and will make that place as hostile as they come, you don't need to look much further than Ellen Road. That is going to be hugely intimidating, and our players will do what they do.
Crumble.
Correct.
Once again. But look, I think that's our match preview. Another match review. Another terrible day at the office. Thanks for Brian for keep correcting me throughout the video.
Right,
that's what he's here for. That's what he's here for.
I've said that now. I'm going to do it in every single other video.
But look, let us know your thoughts on the game in the comments section below. Big up to Brian for coming on once again today. But we'll see you all very soon. Player ratings up next. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.